Okay, you guys, I'm going to quickly go through the bridge and the final 8 bars just to point out a few things that some of you did. I eventually took from a few people's stuff and a little of my own and finished the tune out along with the words that were submitted by Anthony, class member Anthony. So let's go over this bridge here. This was really supposed to be kind of a sequential type of bridge, and some of you did better than others. If you look at this first one here, when you transpose, a sequence basically steps down. It's transposed along with the chord changes with the same intervallic structure. So you can play through these. I'm not going to play through them all, but you can see that this one actually ended up on the root here. This is the 5th, and he moved this line upwards. And then he did the same thing there, but this line goes downwards. So if you did a true sequence, these two measures would have been pretty much mirrored, or these two measures would have mirrored these two, and they would have stepped down accordingly. So in a sequential way. Okay, we talked about getting the melody too high. If this is going to be an octave in a 5th range, it's getting a little above there. Now notice this big leap in coming back to the second or the last 8. That's a very big leap there. It literally goes more than let's see, it would be a 10th, something like that, 9th or 10th. Okay, so little things like that. Let's keep going. Let's see, okay. I just want to get to the second part here each time. Okay, here's the bridge. Now notice this one doesn't do really a sequential thing either. This drops by 3rd and then by half step. So this should have dropped by 3rd, then by half step, if you really wanted to do a sequence there. So play through that. Chord tones that are ending on are not too bad. 3rd there, got the 3rd there, and the 3rd there. So I think the sequence is the one that threw the curve the most. So here's another one. This one decided to go upwards. Now notice that these 2 bars are not sequential to these either. That kind of is a little bit, I guess so. But this bar is not. This bar should have gone upwards, down a step or so, starting on B flat. So you really had to work out the puzzle. Everybody ended pretty well on the G because that fits all of these chords. 3rd, 3rd. 11th and sharp 11 there. Okay. Now the ending, some of you ended on this particular one ends on the 5th. So remember, if you go through a standard tune, most of them end on the root. Not all of them, but I think you should have heard this ending on the root and this being a C major chord here, and then a short turnaround here. You could have done this whole turnaround here, but I think this... No, wait a second. Well, that's not the ending. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, it is the ending. What he did was he did the same 8 bars as the ending. Or the ending is the same first 8 bars. So that's not going to work. We should have had a little different changes in this last line here to wrap up the tune. And you'll see that in the final. So let me go on here. Here's one that did the same type of thing. 3rd to 3rd to 3rd to 3rd. Not too bad, but it's not sequential either. So you can see there's a down a 4th, up a half step. This should have been down a 4th, up a half step if you want to do a true sequence. Okay, so that was definitely a challenge, that sequence. I knew it would be. Okay, so you can play through these. I don't want to spend too much time. Let's go on to the next one. Yeah, same type of thing. Everybody tried to get the 3rd in there. Flat 9. So yeah, this is not sequential either. But I did steal this right here, as you'll see in a minute. And it goes back up. this actually, oh, he didn't finish it. Okay, so he didn't finish the last 8 bars. So let's go on. Okay, this is what, Anthony's, and this is what I took the lyrics from. I did steal a little bit of his melody as well. Let's go on to the bridge here. Now what he decided to do is repeat notes here. So that is pretty much sequential. Although I think repeated notes is a little boring, but you get the idea. So he actually, see how he stepped down, and then he did the same intervallic structure there for a sequence. So it's a very short sequence. It's only, it's only twice through, and then we got to wrap it up and get back to the C major 7 chord there. So he ended on the root. Whoops, there's the words there. So he ended on the root as well. That was nice. I changed this and I went up to a D, and instead of this rhythm, I changed it, as you'll see in a minute, to a 8th rest dotted quarter, coming from the 5th and back downwards. I think it's a little more dramatic, but either one works. There isn't one particular way. I think it's subjective at a certain point, but some things are much better than others. Okay, going on. Let's see. Oh, he didn't finish. Okay, let's see what he did here. The bridge. Okay, here's the bridge. Now, you'll see in a minute, I stole this interval right here, down a minor 6, as you'll see in a minute. So he had pretty good sequence. This was not bad at all. So I kind of stole a little bit from this, and I tweaked it just a little bit, as you'll see in a minute. One thing that doesn't, I guess it could work here. That's the 11th of an E minor. That's the sharp 11. You have to play this through. I think more of a chord tone in C would be better there. I think G would be the choice there. But A would certainly have a little bit of flavor to it. Okay, here's the final one. So let's go through. This is what I decided on. So as you can see at the bridge, there's the 6, and I chose to go down and then do this little starting on the flat 9 and go up to the 5th. See how this sequences down? That's another that drops down exactly like this one, and that's exactly like this part here. Okay, and then I worked my way back. Notice how I have C resolving to the 3rd of G7. This was, I think I stole this part from Anthony's, where he goes da 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 dum, and I ended on a G. Fits everything there, and the words, I did change a couple of words just to fit them in. But this was Anthony's right here, and this was Anthony's. So I stole. Anthony did a good job, especially with the lyrics here. I really like this, how we got the sharp 11 here on this F9. It's perfect. And this ends on the 3rd of E minor 7 flat 5, and just a simple little stepwise melody there ends on the augmented of A plus 7 sharp 9. And then you notice how it goes down to the 9th. So this is really good melodic structure here. It just sounds really good, and it, from a theoretical standpoint or a music theory standpoint, it looks really good too. So I sat down on the piano and I played this through. It's not perfect because I'm not a piano player per se, but listen to the performance and you can hear the swing tune in its entirety right here. Thanks a lot, and I think we did a really good job with this, you guys. We need to do this again, and what we can do is arrange this for a small group. So anyway, thanks again, and I'll talk to you later.